Hello. How's everybody? Happy Saturday, I believe. I think it's Saturday. I honestly don't know at this point. Hi, Shadows of Life. Hi, Puddleglum. I hope that you're having a good day, whatever day it happens to be. I know that a week has happened. I know that today is the day where I am supposed to be here at this time and play games. But this entire week has just sped by so quickly that honestly, I have no idea what's going on. My devices tell me that it is Saturday, but my body refuses to believe that a week has passed. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. You may require a nap. Thankfully, you're able to get off work early today. Congratulations on getting off work early today. That is a good thing. Use the time to, do whatever you need to do. Naps are good if you're able to do them. I struggle with sleep and I struggle with naps. They are challenging. Mostly because I get frustrated that I end up feeling like I have wasted my time. I know they're not a waste of time, except that I have so many things that I'm supposed to do or need to do or want to do, and there's not enough time in the world for me to accomplish them. Hi, Elixir! Totally not sending work emails. Today's not a work day. So I will encourage you to cease with the work email sending. But you're your own person, so I can't control that. Had to do a thing, yeah. Totally not working on world building. You're allowed to work on world building if you wish to. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing at this point. I have a to-do list and it tells me when I'm supposed to do things. And I look at it once a week and update it and decide what I'm going to be working on. And then I get frustrated because nothing ever seems to end. It just goes on and on and on. And I've been finding that frustrating. I don't know if if I'm just tired and I need a break, but I just had some time off. Clearly was not enough to fully recharge my batteries. So I don't know. I've been finding it hard to get excited about things lately. And maybe it's just the time of year or just the fact that it's been raining for an entire week. Or like, no matter what I do, my hands seem to be really freaking cold right now. But it's probably just my normal. I go through periods where I'm up and periods where I'm down, and I think I'm at a low point right now. But I try to fight it. It doesn't work, but I try. Anyway, I don't know what I was gonna, I don't know how many of you saw the Game Awards. I took a look on Thursday when they were airing, and honestly don't remember many of the awards. The show didn't seem to be about the awards. The show was about advertising upcoming video games. So it was like a big, here's a world premiere trailer for this game, and isn't this trailer lovely? It doesn't show you anything about what it will be like to actually play the game, but isn't it pretty? Which is why I don't pay a lot of attention to game trailers. You saw a bit of it. Um, uh, I'm not certain if there's anything in particular that was announced that I'm super excited about. A lot of people are hyped over Hades 2, which was officially announced. No dates yet, but hi B-Rate UK, Horizon didn't win. That's true. A tragedy that Ashley Birch was not recognized. Yeah, it's the video game trailers awards. Yeah. So kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure what upcoming games I'm excited about. I have a big long backlog list of things to play though, so I'm not in need of brand new games at the moment. I think the one that there was a trailer for that I was maybe the most interested in is the Dune game, because it's an MMO, which probably means that it'll be at least something that I can do. Which sounds weird to say, but respect the idea of the Game Awards. Jeff Haley's genuinely trying to do good with it, but yeah, a lot about spectacle and sometimes not about substance. Yeah, I mean, it was a very awards show. And I was watching on Cypher's channel. Painting Pirate was hosting because Cypher was in the audience at the awards. And the commentary about the show itself was, it's like a typical awards show. And there was comparison to the Tony Awards, which, if you're not familiar, the Tony Awards are the Broadway awards. And with those, you do get like essentially product trailers, but they're live performances by people who are up for nominations and shows that have been nominated for Best Musical. And so it's different in a way because they're actually performing live, and where it's not just a polished, pre-produced trailer, it's a live performance. And so they're somehow less objectionable. But they still do most of the awards before the show starts and not on camera, and then read off a big long list of this show won this and this show won that. So I don't know. Horizon was in a deep field. Like, Horizon won, I remember they won one award, but I can't remember what it was. It might have been audio direction, something like that. And I don't remember the full list of awards, but Elden Ring won Game of the Year. And it's hard to argue. It was a game that a lot of people loved. It's a style of game that I don't play, so I wasn't super excited about it winning. Almost put a full playthrough of Hades on the wheel. I'm scared of Hades still. My confidence level in being able to play that game is very low. In other news, some of your new neighbors are loud and you're turning. Oh dear, a curmudgeon. Not gonna go confront the neighbors, just sit there and be grumpy about it. I understand that feeling. So Horizon did not get the level of recognition it would have gotten if it was released in a different year, because it was up against God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring in basically all of the categories, and most of them God of War Ragnarok took. And Game of the Year went to Elden Ring, and so Horizon just didn't get the recognition it deserved, because and it in comparison, in the discussion on the channel I was watching on, the comparison that was made to any show that came out the year that Hamilton came out. No matter how good they were, they didn't stand a chance. So, Horizon's a great game. It's a shame it didn't take any awards. Also hard to say God of War or Elden Ring didn't deserve. True. Yeah, like, there were great nominees in the accessibility category. God of War Ragnarok took it. And it's hard to argue that because God of War Ragnarok has amazing accessibility features. Termagant, as a femme form of curmudgeon. I've not heard that term. I didn't know there was a need for a gender-specific term for curmudgeon. So it's weird. I still feel like I've been away forever, but mostly because 2 weeks in a row, we haven't played Ultima and we haven't played Mass Effect. Because 2 weeks ago, I took some time off. Last week, Ultima didn't want to open properly, and so we ended up playing the Starship Troopers game, which was really good, but wasn't Ultima. And then I didn't have a Sunday stream, so this week I'm coming back, and Ultima is functional, and we're going to continue with Ultima 6, and then tomorrow is the Tron mission in Mass Effect 3, which we've waited 2 weeks for. And like, we landed, and by landed I mean we went into what is essentially the grid, and that's where we saved and closed the game. The concert was fine. It's not actually, like, I think I had said community orchestra. It's the name of it is Community Strings, and so it's like not a full orchestra. It's primarily strings. They're all amateurs. They're all players who like, most of them never had formal education in music after high school at the latest. I think Philip is probably the only one who did college level music studies. Even the conductor, the conductor's a software engineer. So it's a local group, and they, according to Philip, he thinks that the group exists more for the fun of getting together and practicing as a group than it does for putting out a concert. And they do the concerts more because they're expected to than because they want to. I don't know. It was strange to hear that, but whatever, as long as they have fun doing it, that's what matters. The music was recognizable. It was not the best orchestra music I ever heard, but it was fine. The hardest part for me was not surfing the internet on my phone while I was watching the concert, because I don't know if you know this about people with ADHD, sitting still and paying attention to something in an environment where you're not allowed, or where socially you're expected to sit still and pay attention, can be really difficult. And so half the time I had my eyes closed and was near to nodding off. I was listening, but it was sitting still for classical music is not an easy thing for me and never has been. If it was like a musical, like a stage musical with singing and dancing and colorful costumes and things like that, that's different. I can follow a story. It's like watching a TV show, which, I mean, still sometimes I'll get distracted or end up thinking about other things while I'm watching but it's much easier for me than sitting still to watch a concert of classical music. That was very difficult for me. It's like going to a 9 a.m. all hands meeting and sitting there while people present on work-related things. Also really difficult for me. And honestly, now I can attend on Zoom for those, and I usually am doing something while the meeting is happening, which helps me to stay active. Before we had a nice toasted sandwich, I used to go physically to the room for the meeting as I was expected to do, and I struggled to stay awake. And usually the only thing that kept me awake was snarky comments in like a text thread with other people in the room. Still cool though. Personally, you think there should be more things like that? Yeah, like it wasn't the best music ever. It wasn't the best performance ever. But it was still really cool because it was people doing something they enjoyed doing. And that's cool. One of the hardest things about doing anything creative as an adult is the psychological hurdle of feeling like, well, I'm not a professional, so I'm not good enough to do this. Yeah, arts are for everybody. The director said that at least the mistakes you made were new mistakes and didn't come up in rehearsals, so everything you practiced was spot on. Yeah. And honestly, better than I could have done. So that is a point in their favor. It's better than I could have done. I have yet to decide what or when I want to do anything. I don't know if the people here remember, but we're approaching 2 years that I've been streaming. The 2-year anniversary of the first time I went live on Twitch will be the 26th of this month. And I have yet to decide what I might want to do to like mark the occasion. Because I kind of feel like December 26th is probably not the best day to do like a special anniversary stream. But that is the actual like anniversary date. But then again, I don't know when would be a good day or what I should do. I feel like I should just like plan a long stream and play a couple games and just hang out. I would like to figure out like maybe a multiplayer game that people could hop in on and just hang out or join or I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know. I don't know what would be good. So I'll have to think on it. Anyway, if people have ideas, you're free to share them. I should probably actually like get us into Britannia. I don't have lots of updates to do. Jackbox seems to be a good one. It just came out. Official hide and seek mode in Among Us. I haven't done an Among Us stream on my channel. I have been a player in Among Us streams, But I haven't done Among Us on my channel. But that could be a possibility. Jackbox is okay. I tend to not like it as much as other people seem to. But I think Hide and Seek Among Us could be good, and it's brand new and people would be interested. There are other options too. I'll have to think on it and decide on a date and time and figure out if we're going to have people join with audio chat or just join. I mean, if we're doing Among Us, audio would be good. And I have a Discord that would work for that. Okay, I'm going to put the game on the screen because if I don't, I will never play it. Except that we've been playing since the beginning of stream, obviously. But we can still chat about other things as I get oriented to what we're doing and where we are. Yeah, Among Us, where you have to use like the text, in-game text communication, significantly more difficult. Okay, I'm push the button. And unmute the game. Hopefully, game audio is making its way to you. So let's see here. I don't know what happened that caused it to not function properly last week, but I tried multiple things to fix it, and ultimately, I updated DOSBox, but that wasn't the necessary thing. The settings for the running the game within DOSBox somehow had either ceased functioning or gotten changed. And I knew that from the aspect ratio issue, which you all can't see, but on my screen, it had gone full screen. And if I allowed it to open full screen, it worked. But if I ever exited out of the game, clicked out of it for anything, alt-tabbed out, it would leave full screen and have just a black screen. You're loving the pixelated TV shows that he's streaming through? Yeah. Or switching through. There was a setting, it needed to be set to direct draw in order to work at the different resolutions. And so once I figured that out, we were good. But when I opened up the program a week ago, 10 minutes before I was supposed to be live, and it didn't work, I didn't have the time to troubleshoot it. So, you know, here we are. Yeah, the whole cabinet is very like one that we had in my house growing up. The placement of things is slightly different, but it definitely had like the double cabinet under the TV. It had a spot for the TV. The TV spot was on the left-hand side. It had an open space. It had various consoles around the TV. Like, this is very like one that we had growing up. Yeah. I don't remember exactly how everything fit, because we had the reel-to-reel player and the 8-track player and the equalizer and the TV and the record player. I don't remember how all of it fit, because the reel-to-reel player took up a lot of space. Your parents used to have everything up really high in case, because your brother loved anything with buttons. I don't know how much we cared about the buttons, but there was all of the buttons on the audio equipment were metal. And if you put an 8-track in and you push the buttons to change the tracks, it would give you a mild electric shock. Not an unpleasant electric shock, just sort of like a tickling. Not even like as strong as touching an electric fence. I just remember it was a pleasurable sensation. It was a good sensation of touching those buttons and getting because it was more of a vibration. It wasn't like static electricity shock when you touch a metal doorknob or anything like that. It was more of like a vibration, but it was very definitely an electric shock that you were getting from the audio equipment, and it probably should not have done that, but it was a good vibration. Yes, good vibrations. That is not what I meant to do. Can we undo that? I hit the wrong button. I hit my emergency button. That was my bad. Hang on. I'm going to fix. I don't have a one button fix though. I just need to switch us back to all right. What all did I do? 120 seconds slow mode. No, I don't need that. Did we fix that? Thank you, Lord Portico. What else? Yeah. I was trying to push a button and I pushed the one below it by mistake. Hi, Moody Mystery. Let me look and see what all that button does. It clears the chat, which I can't undo. It creates a stream marker. It switches to sub chat. It switches to slow. And it plays an ad. Oh, dang it. Yeah, no, I was trying to hit that button to make the Excel spreadsheet visible, and hit the button below it, which is the emergency button, it's the red alert button, for if we were getting flooded with a bot raid or something like that. Oops. Yeah, whoopsie doodles. Okay. I'm off to a spectacular start today, aren't I? So where were we? We were trying to do the Shrine of Honesty. But it seemed like there were some things we needed before we could do that. One of which was the ability to dispel magical field. But we didn't have enough money for that. So we're questing to try and get some money. We had, as our first priority, we need to ask one of the members of the council. I know you can't see the full text of what the cell has in it, but ask one of the members of the council, and we've identified Xiao at the Lyceum as a member of the council, to tell me about wisps. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and then find the other half of tablet for Mariah. Return to Mariah with both pieces. Captain Hawkins stole it. Seek him in Buccaneer's den. Well, the view that you have into the game right now, Detective Zen, is in the rather mundane real world where the Avatar normally lives. This is before going through the Moon Gate to get to Britannia. But I could, actually put us in Britannia. Journey onward. I don't know where we actually are, but... No, I seriously have no idea where we are presently located in the world. This is a house. Is a house. Or shop of some sort. Who are you? That will tell me where I am. Ephemeride. Stupid real world. Isekai already? Hi, Iron Trout. I don't actually know what the word isekai means. Shadows, it's unclear. I think, oh, in another world. Gotcha. I don't think it's specified, and I think that's on purpose. So Richard Garriott, who is Lord British and who created the games, was the child of Brits who lived in Texas. And my guess is that the Avatar is meant to be in America before going to Britannia, but I don't think it really matters. Basically, when someone is taken from their normal life into a world where they have powers. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm familiar with it as a storytelling trope. I didn't know. And I've heard the word before, and I've seen the word before, but I didn't know the meaning of the word, and I had never associated the two. All right, so if we're talking to ephemerides, we are at the Lyceum. Okay, which is where we wanted to be because we want to go and talk to Zhao. I don't actually know how we're intended to pronounce Zhao within the context of the game because there's no audio as far as like voiceover, so I don't know. But I don't need to speak with you right now, ephemerides. What I need is the map of the Lyceum to know where the heck I am trying to go to. Super excited to see us. Yeah. All right. Lyceum. The Lyceum. On the right-hand page here, we are at the observatory over all the way on the right, and we need to go to the furthest north building, which is where Zhao the Mage is. So cool. Cool. Let us proceed. I'm sure that's what we were trying to do when we ended 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks, and so I have no clue. But the path will guide us along the way. Go past all of the buildings. All right. I bet we came here by boat also. And see, now seems like it should be the time we'd be going to the observatory because it's getting dark. The mage is probably gonna be asleep. They've never heard of a marching order. You're not wrong. Okay. Use the door. Ooh, hello, woman. Why is it labeling her woman when we have spoken to her before? She's in our notes and we know her name. You see a wise, scholarly woman. Good evening, Avatar. For what purpose hast thou come? So her job is she's the council wizard, which I assume means she's who we're supposed to talk to. We asked about shrines last time. All right. What we want, though, this time is to ask about wisps. That's possible. Normally, I haven't had to in this game, but name. I am Xiao. But it's still going to just show woman because even once you learn the name, it's not till the second time you talk to them that their name shows up as the label. Wisps. Their secret is far more powerful than anything I might teach thee. It is a keyword, so we have successfully identified a member of the council. Secret is far more powerful than anything I might teach thee. Powerful. Let's see what she says about powerful. Truly, it would be terrible if the wrong person were to learn it. Only we of the Council of Wizards know the secret. But since thou art the Avatar, surely it is safe for thee to learn it as well. Okay. Teach. Secret. Great. Only council knows secret. But I can learn too. And yet, how? Well, I tried teach. Perhaps you should speak of that to another. Terrible if the wrong person were to learn. Only we of the Council of Wizards know the secret. So learn worked as a keyword, but it's wanting me to. That is doing the same as if I was buying spells. Huh. No. I don't know what to do. I need to consult my spreadsheet. Indeed, indeed. Ooh, homemade tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. I love grilled cheese and tomato soup. Tomatoes, garlic, onions, and bacon on the grill to roast them. Fresh basil's chopped, and the bone broth is done. So I am not a person who enjoys hot tomatoes, but I do enjoy tomato soup and tomato sauce. And like marinara sauce. So if the tomatoes have been pulverized so they're not tomato-like anymore and mixed with other ingredients, I enjoy them. But I really don't like hot tomatoes. And I don't know why. Well, heckity heck, what am I supposed to do now? You don't know why this makes you want to order nachos. I am going to see what I can learn without getting too much by glancing at the walkthrough here. I don't know if there's even anything on the wisps in this walkthrough. Can't eat whole foods, but we'll eat the same food pulverized. Also, it's very strange because this is like a wiki and there is no search function that I have located. Well, I know it exists elsewhere. Right. Book of Lost Mantras. I don't know what I'm doing. That's possible, but I don't know where they are. I'm just gonna read a little bit about Zhao. A wise, scholarly woman who was willing to sell the Avatar spells and reagents, told the Avatar that she was a member of the Council of Wizards, an organization devoted to promoting the 8 virtues and keeping the magic forces of Britannia in balance. She was unwilling to teach spells of the 8th circle until the Avatar first sought out the Zoranite Wisp and learned their secrets. Okay. I didn't get that from the... I didn't get that from the conversation I had with her, that the intent was, oh, you need to go and talk to the wisps. And then, like, I thought she was gonna tell me. Well, let's see what our spreadsheet says. Do I have a filter on presently? I do. It's just sorting by name? I'm very confused. There. Let's find any mention of wisps. All right, Mandrake told us something. Strange secret of the wisps. Shamino, deep forest. Spirit wood isn't as dense as it has those strange wisps everywhere. So we need to go to the Spirit Wood. Reasons why you eat during or before streams. I need to make more cookies. I made cookies, but I ended up only making enough cookies for our student employees, and now I need to make cookies so that I can have some, and also so that my coworkers can have some too. Although, I should probably have... I only have enough to make one more batch. I should probably be doing a double batch. I forgot about that. Scream and panic? Hide under the desk. Oh, look through the walkthrough. That makes sense. Indeed, indeed. Just use Google to search the site. I could do that, Iron Trout. I didn't know that there was an easy command like that for it. I just used Google Advanced Search to do it, and they've made it much harder to find Google Advanced Search. Go figure. Right. So if the Whisper in Spiritwood, I shall consult the map. Oh dear. Does anybody remember how to read Britannian glyphs? Where is my... It's over this direction. You don't remember? Why not? All right. I just have to find the right page. Here we go. This is the page I was looking for. This page has all of those wonderful names on it. And I don't know that you're even going to be able to see. There are runes in the middle of this dark forest area here. That is not Spiritwood. That's the high steps. No, it's not. I don't know what that one is. The dark forest, of course. So where's Spiritwood? Dig out my notebooks from when I went to college in Britannia. Yeah. There's not homework. This is just notes from 2 games ago. So Spiritwood exists. What I don't know is if it's labeled. Oh, it is labeled. It's labeled in dark color. And very small writing. I had forgotten where it was. I think it's here. Yes, this one is Spiritwood. Next to Scarabray. So if I warp to Scarabray and head off into Spiritwood, I should hopefully be able to find the wisps. I hope. And then eventually I'll have to come back here to get the spell, because I don't think we've gotten the spell, right? I have to spell magic, poison, untrap, but I don't have, I need the spell that will let me dispel magical fields, which exists. I was gonna try and find it in the book, but I forget which book. One would think the compendium, possibly the clue book. One of these has a list of the magical spells. It's not like I've been playing this game for months. Dispel magic does not work. Towns, shame, items. Page 49, The Art of Spellcrafting. Wait, and then it goes into the shop list. Spells. This is the shop list, but it has that's less useful than I wanted. One would think that I could find what I'm looking for. One would be wrong. Reference card? Spell list! Thank you. I believe it's a second level one. So we have to detect magic, dispel magic, infrared, unlock, dispel field. Third circle spell, dispel field, is the one that we need in order to progress the main quest. But the scroll I need costs 75 gold, and we have 23. So not really an option. All right. But Shamino knew where we were supposed to go to look for the wisps. We need to go to Spiritwood. So we need to go to Scarabray, which the lovely clue book should have our fastest way there, which will be down to left 2 using our stone. Aha! See, I'm totally good at this. Some of the spells look like Quarian names. Oh, because they're, yeah, the syllables. While I'm thinking about it, though, just one moment, because Philip had indicated that he was going to go to the grocery store. So if he's doing that and I realize I need additional ingredients to make a double batch of cookies, I'm just going to throw 1 or 2 things on here. It's, in fact, actually 2 things. And I will hydrate in just a moment. I just need to go to my recent items that I purchased and add 2 of them to the current shopping list. That said, hopefully I won't hurt myself making cookies again. Yes, I hurt myself making cookies. I think all I need from the ingredients, I have enough dried pineapple. I should have plenty of eggs. I just need the cake mix and the pudding mix. There. Now they exist on the list. Wow, I'm distractible today, aren't I? Thank you for the stretch. Oh, and the hydrate. Portico, how does it feel to have the end of your semester? I know, like, it's not completely done because you still have, I presume, some sort of exams that need to be scored. But hopefully it is good to potentially be able to do things like watch a Monday night Streampunks stream this coming Monday for the final Streampunks game stream of the year with episode 9 of Beacon. I'm hopeful that you will actually be able to join one of those. It's been a run and you're grateful for lectures to be over. You have 50 papers to read and 27 finals to grade. Oh my gosh. Nothing specific to watch then, Rogan. No, nothing specific at all. Just Monday night, immediately following my Mist 3 stream, will be episode 9 of Beacon. The alien RPG show from the Streampunks. Personal time? What even is personal time? I don't know. I'm wandering around at night, which I don't worry about too much, but I don't know where I'm going. I should maybe look at the Scarabray map to get a sense of which direction I should actually be heading. All right. I exited town and started following the path northwards, which is not what I was supposed to be doing because we're trying to go to the woods, which are southeast. So I'm glad I stopped myself because I'm going the wrong direction. Bacon. Oh. I do not envy you having to grade things. I suspect I would not be good at grading. All right, I have located some mountains and bushes. Mountains and bushes are not wisps. I need I should have stones, shouldn't I? Use a gem. All right. I've got a large mountainous area here. Ooh, I don't know what this red spot is. Is that a dungeon entrance, I wonder? Cheese blocks are hard to work with. Grating cheese. Grating. Ouch. But also excellent. Well done. So, I'm in this weird spot. Speaking of food, as we do all too often in this stream, I'm gonna make the cookies because I need to make the cookies, but I've been wanting, sort of feeling like I want maybe possibly to do a baking project that is honestly something I've never done before, which has given me pause because I'm like, why do I want to do it? And said project is a cinnamon raisin bread. I don't generally like raisins, but I don't generally eat raisins, but when I do, they're in a cinnamon raisin bread of some sort. Large mountainous area here. I don't know what this red spot is. Sounds like you really need to see a doctor. Yeah. So I don't know. I've been wanting like just cinnamon raisin bread. I believe I still have some golden raisins from the last time I made gingerbread. And a raisin bread is not one that requires like having a like a sourdough starter or anything like that. So just regular dry yeast that you put in some water to activate should work. I don't know though. I've never made bread before. Philip is the one that makes bread. But for some reason I've been wanting it. Okay. I'm gonna stop wandering randomly. We're gonna go north. we're going to find these rivers. Because at the moment, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Trying to find the woods and the wisps in the woods. All right, I have located the path. Directly to my west is Scarabray. There should be a river just north of here. If I follow the path, there is a river. By asking Philip nicely to do it for me? Wandering randomly will be your autobiography. I was thinking there was something else I wanted to do. Oh, yeah. So there are particular food items that I've been wanting this time of year. Cinnamon raisin bread, and I kind of want to make an apple crisp. The problem is, while I occasionally make baked goods, I often don't eat them after I make them. Which is why the cookies are fine, because I can take them to work and they'll disappear. I suppose I could do that with the bread. Although if I only made one loaf, it'd probably be fine. And apple crisp I would definitely make, or I would probably eat it myself with no problems. All right, so I want to stay on the southern side of the river, and if I follow the river until... All right, river moves up. My concern is more like, so when I make pies, and I love making pies. I enjoy making pies. I enjoy baking pies much more than I enjoy eating pies. Which ultimately is a problem. Okay, so the woods are right here. These are the woods I was looking for. The question is how to navigate them and locate the wispy one. So Shimino claims that the wisps are here in these woods. I see is it going to attack me, or will it talk to me? How does one talk to a wisp? Apparently by clicking on it. You see a strange glowing ball of energy. You whisper. Excellent. Indeed, excellent. What was the name of these woods? Spirit Wood. Of course. Let's see, description. Strange glowing ball of energy. See, the thing is, I could make a cinnamon raisin bread, but I'd probably be just as satisfied with a purchased loaf of cinnamon raisin bread that I warmed the slices up. Which is why I don't know. I don't know that I need to buy or to bake it myself. Go to the bakery, point at the pie you want, exchange it for the correct amount of money. No, that's the opposite of what I want. I want to make the pies and have other people eat them. Glimmerwing, stay away from the wisps. What do you mean? We do have our game tonight, I believe. I haven't heard anything saying it's not happening. Again, Again, you of this plane address I of the Zoranite dimension. Again? What do you mean again? I've never spoken to you before. By what name do you wish to be addressed at this time? Mud? I'm giving my actual name. Very well, Aokon. Do you have memory of previous discussions with myself? No. So be it. I must often repeat information when conversing with the life of Britannia, it seems. I do not see how each unit of life here can have different memories, different desires. But again, I inform Britannia that it is not so in my realm. Those which you know as Wisp in Britannia are projections of the life of Zorina. I don't know what, where, how. I don't know what to put in my notes. This isn't in response to anything. My notes aren't structured for this. It's like I'm conversing with a being from another dimension. Okay, I don't know that I need it in my notes. Let's keep going. I extend into many planes besides this one. Britannia communicates with me very seldom, and is known by those of very few other planes. Every time I speak with Britannia, it seems I must explain my nature again, just as I have just done. That is very strange. I say, job. Zorinia serves as a conduit for information between different planes. Sorry, what? Could you? Apparently, they are some sort of projections of what sounds like a uniconscious hive mind that lives in another dimension. You like to imagine the Avatar is so desensitized by coming to Britannia. That was an actual conversation he had. Yeah, glowing ball of light. So anyway, I baked the sweet loaf. Probably. Conduit for information. I think the Wisp's name is Zorinia. We'll confirm in a moment. Information. Prepare to die. In exchange, these planes provide information that can be used to improve Zorinia. Occasionally, payment is accepted in the form of substance, but this is not preferred. The Wisp is Google. Maybe? They've infiltrated Britannia. Are they secretly Borg? The concept of name is one I still do not grasp. I believe that when you ask me to use Aokon as a form of address, it has something to do with name. When Britannia addressed me with the name Zog, an attempt was made to explain. Zog? Does the Wisp want pie? That's a good question. The Wisps in Ultima 5 attack you. The Wisps in Ultima 4 attack you. All of the Wisps we've ever encountered up until now attack. But still, I do not understand. All right, so, oh wait, Zog was actually a keyword, not just a... Ultima 5 wisps can also possess you. So I'm just gonna... I think Zarenia is where the wisp is from? Great. Let's start on these keywords. You. I and you are words that seem to have no meaning. I mimic the way you use them in this language out of courtesy. Mm-hmm. Sure. Sure. You're secretly Borg. Where's the queen? She'll understand the concept of I. Information. Britannia has never participated in the interplanar exchange of information. The interplanar exchange of information? I mean, Britannia is the world that we're in. Apparently, we've never participated in that exchange. They said before that Britannia only has connections to very few other places. I can't go around accusing people of being Borg. Why not? I have presented a sample known in Britannian terms as a secret, but no further interest has been shown. Secrets. I say... Secret. Secret. Because of the nature of Britannian memory, I now present the sample information to you again. The wisp pulsates, fading from blue to white, then back to blue again. As it does so, a scroll materializes in your hand. This is a simple invocation of magic energy to bring about the cessation of all life. It is not a very useful or powerful form of magic, as it will only affect beings in the same plane where it is invoked. Inform any WISP unit if you have interest in further exchange. A scroll to wipe out all life on a plane of existence. I don't think we want the entire Wizards Council to know about this secret. Murder scroll. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Grant. Interest. If you present a reasonably dense information source to a WISP unit, arrangements will be made to transfer some suitably valuable commodity in Britannian possession. Gimme info. You get stuff. That's my translation. Okay, so our next step in our first priority is get some info to give the wisps. Well, let's finish this convo. The scroll just has the email address to contact customer service. No. Substance. Actual physical materials are so plentiful throughout the multiverse that they are of little value. Information has much greater worth. Physical stuff is everywhere, so worthless. Info equals value. Why is this game setting me up to kill everyone? Oh, because plot reasons? Yeah, sure. Zog. Once when I offered sample information to Britannia, the name Zog was given by the life unit that received it. No further contact with Britannia was obtainable for some time after this. Perhaps misuse of the sample information was responsible. Okay, this is me having brain issues. Zog? I don't remember Zog. Am I supposed to remember Zog? I mean, this is game 6. This is the worst vending machine ever. Misuse of information. Misuse of information. You have enraged an archivist. Okay. Let me find out. I don't remember. Zog. From the Codex of Ultima Wisdom. Zog was a mage who lived in Caesarea a long time before the events of the Ultima games. Millennia before Ultima 1, Zog received the spell. Huh. Like, I recognize the name Zog. Is there not, like, a Zog game? Anyway, apparently a piece of lore. Kneel before Zog. Okay. I find it unusual that you find it so important to inform me of the imminent cessation of proximity between one unit of Britannian life and one Zoranite. Nonetheless, accordance with your custom, goodbye, Aokon. Look. Let us see a spell. It weighs 0.1 stone. I'm probably thinking of Zork, Detective Zen. You're right. Save game. Use scroll. Not usable. Um, I moved the spell into my spell book. Oh, I can't use it because I probably don't have the reagents, or because it wasn't in my spell book. 8th level, Armageddon. I'm able to cast it one time. You know what has to happen, right? I'm not a high enough level to cast Vascorp Betmani. Oh, I saved. I did save. Scroll that kills everyone, but you just get a paper cut. I am not a high enough level to cast Armageddon, apparently. Once I am a high enough level to cast Armageddon, we will cast Armageddon just so that we can see what happens. All right. So the next thing we need to do, we need to find a sufficiently dense information source. 8th circle spell need to be a level 8 character. Is that true? I was looking, I was glancing at some things before stream and saw something that said you could be a 7th level to cast an 8th level spell. Spell to send oil rig workers into space to destroy asteroids. Indeed. Eventually, we'll destroy everyone. Right. I need information. Information? And I wasn't wrong when I said information. You're about to die. Or, I'm trying to remember, in Doctor Who, in the Titanic episode, it was the angels. I love the way that they said information. But I forget when it goes, and because they do go and they say information, and then they say something threatening, like that you're about to die, but I forget exactly what it was. I said it earlier and I've already forgotten it. This finding info for the wisps is presently our first priority. Cannot get the runes yet. Carmageddon! Well, where would we get a dense information source? You know, there's a library at the Lyceum. Where else does one go to find information? The Lyceum. Which is over on an island, isn't it? It's up north from Moonglow. Head scratching. The Lyceum, where Zhao the Mage was. That's where we need to go, and in order to get there, I believe Moonglow. Because we were after the Shrine of Honesty, Moonglow, same island. Yes, that's where we need to go. We go to Moonglow because we can't go directly to the Lyceum. And Moonglow is up to, left to. But I think I need to exit the woods first. Run away! They gave me a spell that'll kill us all! try it. No! I must. No! Sorry. There's an internal argument happening in the protagonist's mind about potentially using the Armageddon spell. For bad or good is also Carmageddon. You just have to know whether it's a C or a K. Bum, bum, bum. All right. We have reached a moon glow. Repeat, we have reached moon glow. If I head north from the stones, I presume I will get to where I'm going. Right? Presumption. Detective Zen, I apologize. Apparently, Moobot doesn't like the number of symbols that you had in whatever you said. I don't know what it was. But, Moo? Don't have a cow, Moobot. Too many quotation marks? Really? Oh, what? I am confuzzled. Show me the map. Map? No, not that map. There's a map of the library as though it is a dungeon. This is Zhao's place. How did we get all the way to Zhao's place when we warped into Moonglow? Yeah, I think we've made changes to Moobot over time, but the bots by default are rather aggressive. Uh-huh. Apparently we were already at the Lyceum. I wish to go into this building? Yes. I wish there was a bigger field of view. What? I do? Thank you. See, thank you. Thank you for the 100 bits. I cannot get into the main portion of the library without the spell. That's what... Oh gosh. Wow. I need money. I thought we were getting money. I ended up with an Armageddon spell instead of a Dispel Field spell. And still, I'm no richer than I was. Alright. How do I do what I wanted to do? Where is the library? I thought the library was in the... Is it... Theriant. Astronomer. I'm confused. The Armageddon spell doesn't... It actually... Well... If you consider individual life force to be fields, then yes, it does dispel fields. Everybody's just waking up. Well, heckity. That's Dargoth. they didn't have the specific crab that I put on the grocery list. So I'm receiving a query. I had imitation crab meat sticks on the grocery list, but apparently the grocery store does not have any of them. But they do have flake style and chunk style, so I need to speak to people in town to figure out what to do next. Grand Moff Tarkin in purple robe. Are people awake now? I need to speak with the librarian, please. Ah, yes. Hello there. Hello there. Hi. Spirits or Funa? I don't know Funa. Oh, it's Mariah. You see a freckled young lady with an enchanting smile. Good morning, my lord. Can I help thee? Do we need to do anything for Mariah? Other than use her name to name the wind. Find the other half of the tablet for Mariah. Return to Mariah with both pieces. I don't have both pieces. Captain Hawkins stole it. Seek him in Buccaneer's den? So maybe that needs to be first priority, or maybe we're on secondary priority to serve first priority. Oh, fauna. I say, book. I'd be glad to look at it for thee. She examines the book. Oh, I've seen this script before. I have part of an ancient silver tablet in my study with writing both in our language and this. I have learned only a little from studying it, but I can make out a few words. The title is The Book of Prophecies, and it says something about the end of our world. Hey, another mention of the end of the world. If only I had the other half of the tablet, perhaps I'd be able to decipher the rest of the book. Tablet. I got my piece of the tablet from some traveling folk whom I met at a pub. Mayhap they can tell thee where to look for the other piece. Bring both pieces of the tablet here, and I'll tell thee what I can. All right. That is the thing that we are needing to be doing, I guess. I don't know. I assigned my assistant Rosetta to think of some stone naming ideas. All right, if I need to go to Buccaneer's Den, which my notes say is what I need to do to further the finding of the other half of the tablet. Buccaneer's Den, I can't just warp to. So Buccaneer's Den is on this island here. So I either need to take my boat and go there via boat, or I seem to recall something saying there was a dungeon route from the castle? Buccaneer's Cave. I had to go through this cave once, but I don't know if I could manage it again. Some gremlins stole all my food before I'd gotten far, and that's not the worst of it. While I was wandering around looking for the tunnel that leads to the sewers, I ran into just about every sort of monster imaginable. Gazers, mongbats, drakes. I think I even saw a demon. But I can't be sure. I was too busy running away at the time to get a good look. If you love fighting, this place might be your idea of heaven, but it's not for me. I see a chest on the second level in which you may find a magic bow and a glass sword. We might need to go there at some point, but I don't know for certain that it goes to the Buccaneer's Den. I think our safest bet is to try to go there by boat. Which means I have to remember where I put the boat. Where did we park 2 weeks ago? Well, we started the game in the Lyceum, so we probably parked at Moonglow. Tharian. You see a busy-looking man wearing a blue robe. We've definitely spoken to Tharian, haven't we? I so want to make progress, but I also need to stop and talk to the people. Tharian, of the Blue Star, who is the librarian. Tharian. The librarian. Let's see. All the students of Nicodemus bear this sign. We got some flavor text. A is fiction, B is nonfiction, and C is reference. Lives southeast of U. Somebody in U. Oh, that was for Nicodemus. We found Nicodemus. The book on Dewey was checked out last week. Try coming back for it later. Hey, it's later. Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered that book was checked out last week. Try coming back for it later. Why are you letting people check out reference materials? Those are for in-house use only. Fine. Do I have a quest from him? Oh. Learn about Dewey. I don't know what I'm doing. Organ Mike! Hello, welcome! Welcome in Raiders. How is everybody? How are you doing, Mike? I got Ultima 6 working again, so I'm trying to remember what I'm doing. We've been trying to remember what I'm doing for like 2 hours now. Interestingly enough, I thought those were only supposed to show up. Thank you for doing the shout out for Mike. I thought the little overlay was only supposed to show up if you weren't already following. Maybe it's just to the streamer. Regardless. You just failed 2 Ultima 4 runs. Oh, sad about the failing, but hopefully you had fun. Yeah, I'm done with you for now, Tharian. I'm just trying to cement a new route. Remember, any takes you take out of here are due back before the next bipolar lunar conjunction. Oh, shadows is that for your world building, spirits or fauna? All right, I think I'm trying to find my boat because I need to go to Buccaneer's Den. Spirits or fauna? I'm gonna say I'm going to say spirits. We've been attacked by snakes. They were hiding in the grass. They didn't even have treasure for me. Oh, I'm a magic boat. That's all I'm gonna do because I don't want Jason Charles Miller to get mad at me. But it's an amazing song. Hang on. Oh, a question about the cookie ingredients. How dare they grass, indeed. And of course, there's this room, which is the reason this is all happening, because I cannot progress the Shrine of Honesty quest until I get through this room. Which is how we've found ourselves on a quest for money, because I don't have enough to buy the scroll I need to cast the spell to get through that room. So our focus shifted to money. I found the boat. I should save. I haven't saved in a while. All right. Getting to the den from Moonglow. If I head southward, as far as the island goes, or its little smaller islands here. I could show people the spell that blows up everything in existence and see how much things cost after that. It's an idea. I don't think it would meet with the virtue standards for the avatar. All right, if I go west from here, I should arrive. Oh! I have the sextant. I don't know how to use it. But you're not wrong. Well, most of them I don't need to, because I just use the warp gate to get there. But for like something like Buccaneer's Den, it would be really useful. Sextant needs to be at night. It sure would be a shame if all your other customers were destroyed. See, I think the problem is, though, that I think it destroys all life, including you, including the caster. It didn't say it didn't destroy the caster. Oh, Sextant is usable during the day in Ultima 6. Alright, I am traveling. I do not know how long it will be before I arrive, but I should hit an island. I mean, they should have GPS. We were in spaceships in the earlier games. Are we actually moving? I feel like this water is much lengthier than I remember. Can I just hold down the button? Land before us! If this is indeed I think this is the Outer Banks of the island with Buccaneer's Den. Or maybe it's not? If it's not, I'm very confused because I thought we had lined up perfectly. I don't think it is, though. I don't think this is Buccaneer's Den. Maybe it is. In fact, I think it likely is Buccaneer's Den, now that I look at the cannons. We haven't been here in this game. Why are we here? Hang on, I'm just fixing this because it's bugging me. That we can't see the whole thing because of the way I wrote things 2 weeks ago. When I was trying to prioritize things and tell myself what to do on this stream. There, much better. Speaking of Buccaneer's Den, does anyone know the price of corn in the Midwest right now? What? Yeah, basically, like those Outer Banks. Captain Hawkins stole it. Seek him in Buccaneer's Den. Buccaneer, oh my god. Look for that wit on Wednesday during the Archives stream. I will have a guest streamer who tells jokes exactly like that. Talk, woman, is what it reads. That's not how I would have approached the situation. No. I can't believe this is still a thing. Ah. Okay. I can't believe it's still a thing that the grocery store is running out of like everything on a weekly basis. And so when we put things on the list, I get multiple text messages saying they don't have this. And I have to respond and say what to do instead. Stretchies, hydration, and posture. Posture? Your bacon fat ginger snaps are in the oven? I mean, I kind of do want a guest because I planned to have a guest and I've told people I would have a guest, and I'd really rather not have to go and do that myself. Just so many notifications, and I have to look at every one of them to make sure that it's not a question about the groceries. All right, we're talking to a woman in Buccaneer's Den. You see a strong, sinewy woman with a hard look about her. Spice people. Do you spice? Welcome, welcome! She snaps you heartily on the back. You say name. Ventrissa! All right, Ventrissa. That's a name for sure. What's your job? I sell ships and skiffs. I mean, I could have figured that out from the sign outside, but also I'm seeing magic door, magic door. Wonder what's in that building below. Alrighty. Ships, skiffs, sea. You don't make any attempts to hide your puns. 2 English degrees. I don't know how you did that, but a strong name, as strong as the sea. She looks into the distance. Sure. A beautiful thing, but a jealous man he is. Are you talking about the sea? Since when is the sea a man? Many call her a female. If you ask me, men are much more unpredictable. I mean, okay. Ventrissa has a point. Great. What was his name? Hawkins? Captain Hawkins. Ask around. I'm not even going to say ships and skiffs. They were keywords, but they are to initiate commerce, which we already have a ship and a skiff. I have never hung my degree. I'm not sure I know where my degree is. Ship has come in. It looks like a storage room. There's a lot of explosive barrels and some crates. Interesting. Magically locked doors, preventing me from going in there. I mean, I could probably get them open at this point, but why? Look! It's a looky loot! Looky loot! It's a loot. We do have a map of Buccaneer's Den. I haven't looked at it yet. Did I read the entry on the Buccaneer's Den? You'd make a joke about powder kegs, but you're afraid they'd blow up on you? Yeah. Buccaneer's Den. Where we have... I read about the cave, not the den. The labeled buildings on this map of Buccaneer's Den are the Fallen Virgin Tavern / King's Ransom Inn, Budo the Provisioner, Buccaneer's Booty, and the Rusty Bucket. Though hardly the notorious den of pirates and thieves it once was, there are still some suspicious goings-on in Buccaneer's Den. Of course, if Budo were to be giving discounts to members of a certain guild, such as one Homer might belong to, I wouldn't know a thing about it. I prefer to follow Patrick's example and cultivate a certain ignorance of affairs that don't concern me. It is odd how you have to go through a secret door in the tavern to reach Budo's shop, though. Speaking of the tavern, the Fallen Virgin is one of the rowdiest there is. Of course, that's to be expected. With all the sailors gathering there when their ships are at anchor, they're always ready to pick a fight. Perhaps you'll find some willing to go adventuring with you. I feel that Homer has knowledge of something which Mariah has need of. So there's our hint. We need to talk to Homer. I think you're intended to giggle at Buccaneer's booty. Hold, please. Everyone giggle! It is imperative that you giggle. Every time you giggle, a buccaneer gets their booty. Isn't that how it goes? Every time you giggle, a buccaneer gets their booty? That'll see an armory. Use the door. Hello there. Are they expanding the booty? Let me speaketh to the person in a helmet with a weird blue fringe. It looks very strange. But also, well, I was going to say, but also they have blue hair, but I don't think they do. I don't think that's hair. I think that is just the cloth that they're wearing under the helmet. You see a scarred man with a gap-toothed grin and large, calloused hands. Alright. Hello, hello! What'll it be? Well, how about your name first? Enric! Enric the Hammer's what I'm known as round here. Are you sure it's not Henrik? I guess he did write out the H in hammer, so I can assume it is actually Enric. At the moment, I don't really have any. That's the problem. Like, I've sold all the stuff, and this game doesn't like spam monsters at you, so I haven't had a lot of money-making opportunities, but I don't have a problem doing this quest. Because I needed to do the quests that came from the book at some point anyway. So, Henrik the Hammer. What's your job here? And my mother said I was thick. You can buy arms from me or sell me your used stuff. What I am known as, you might be a scoundrel, but that's no excuse for poor grammar. I'm just say armor. I assume that buy and sell will cause commerce to ensue. I mean, I do need to, I have a quest that requires me to get parts from a dragon, Moody Mystery. I think dragon scales are needed for something. I can't remember at this point. It's been a few weeks, but oh, I prefer Zama. Two dragon eggs, okay. They call me that because I've got a left, because I've got a good left. Uh-huh. Keep it up and I'll show you. Uh-huh. Sure. Uh-huh. Good, good, good. I mean, I don't mind. I have to stop in the towns and talk to people anyway, and I haven't talked to anybody in Buccaneers Den yet. Um, what shoot, what was his name? Henrik? No, no, it's not. Hawkins. That's a brain. He doesn't know Hawkins. Well, I have to look at the inventory before I consider selling anything. I presently do not have anything on Aecon that I am interested in selling. Same with Dupree. I suppose technically I probably could sell the halberd, but I believe that I don't want to, because in prior game we used the halberd to attack things that were stuck behind walls. Everything's always sold out. I mean, they have stuff, just not the things that I want. The things that I want are sold out. Halberd is very useful. Can attack 2 spaces, then yes, attack behind walls. Yeah, so that's why I've been holding on to the halberd. I have 2 halberds. And Sherry, I've been keeping the dagger for her. Why do I still have the shield? You like stuff? Can I have stuff? I could try and sell the hoe. And the cloth armor. Or the cloth shirt. I sadly, I don't think I have any Feuerbirds. Let's see. Will you sell that cloth armor? 10 gold for the cloth armor. Yeah? But that's it. He won't buy the hoe. In Buccaneers Den, you might do well selling a hoe. Just out of curiosity, let's see what you have to sell me. Arms, you have a club, dagger, main gouge, oil flask, or throwing axe. I don't need any of those. Armor wise, cloth, leather, and that's it. No. That's all. Thanks. Thanks, Hammer. Oh, I'd love some extra arms. He did say he has a good left. And, you know, I think it's good that I left. Do, 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 this is that would be the tavern. But first, I have to look. I have to look in all the doors. It's just gonna be in rooms. But I have to look. What's going on? Oh, I had my fingers in the wrong spot, and I was hitting 5 instead of 6 as I was trying to walk. Only in rooms, no out rooms. Oh. Vestibular. Okay. No out rooms, but out houses, yes. Indeed. Let's talk to the tavern keeper, who is styled much the way that I probably would end up doing if I was like creating a character in a game like this. The red hair and the green clothes. That is totally a thing that I would put together. You see a charismatic man with an engaging smile. Welcome. He makes a sweeping gesture with his hat. I don't see his hat. Sean, friend. I sell ham, ale, mead, wine, and ration. Sell foods. Not surprising, given that he's the tavern keeper. Ham, ale, mead, wine, rations. At the moment, I don't need those. If I run into some gremlins, maybe. Oh, I can note that these will cause commerce to ensue. Yeah, he had you at ham. Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps you could ask someone else. Get out of here, commerce. We're just information gathering. Yeah, I really have nothing to say to Sean. He's just an NPC merchant. I'm glad you stopped by. He gives you a firm handshake. Did he steal from me? I can't imagine any reason a tavern keeper would give me a handshake. We have a musician. Like, games aren't built on the back of the NPC merchants. Oh my gosh, when the NPC merchant uprising happens, I just got the... That would be a fun game, but I also think that that would be an amazing D&D campaign. But there's a questing tavern keeper game in the style of Stardew, isn't there? Uneasy looking bard. Oh, hello. Can I help you with something? Well, first you can tell me your name. They call me Yodeling Johann. Sadly, I do not believe that you will hear me yodeling on this stream. Musician looks like an 80s music teacher who is furious you've arrived late to class. He looks like a Johann. I did very stereotypically styled, yes. What's your job, yodeling Johann? I sing songs for the sailors here. Such a game would have to include the shopkeeper from Crypt of the Necrodancer, who also sings. I am not familiar with Crypt of the Necrodancer. Iron Trout, I sang in college and in high school, and I've like done, but I have never been taught technique. So I don't really know how to yodel. That's why it's not likely to happen. I don't physically know how to do it to really have a sense of how to yodel. Pyra of the Buccaneers Cave Pyras? I know Tom Pyra. I will need I'll have to give it some thought. Because I would need to learn to yodel. But I'm not opposed. I might have to make it like a rewards tier on some sort of fundraising stream or something. Looking for a chance to move to another town. Can you recruit him? That would be hilarious if you're able to recruit yodeling Johan. Crypt of the Necrodancer is a rhythm game dungeon crawler that features mostly metal music. Shopkeeper sings the melody to the song of whatever stage you're in. Cool. I have heard of it. I didn't know what it was. And I have done rhythm games on stream. It was a rhythm platformer, and it was really good, but also frustrating. 80s wrestler. He kind of looks like an 80s wrestler. Don't put hot stuff in the blender. Oh gosh, Iron Trout, I hope you're okay. I'd better not. I've still got bruises from the last time I tried yodeling around here. Galara Dragon, hi Cranberry, how are you? Thank you for the resubscription. 12 months. It's been a year. Oh my gosh. We were just talking about yodeling because Johan here won't yodel for me. And because I also said that I wouldn't do it on stream without some consideration first. They made a Zelda version of Crypt of the Necrodancer? Did I say pirate? I didn't say that. He looks around nervously. Nobody but fine, honest sailors around here. He lowers his voice. By the way, if you should happen to run across Bon or Ibarra or Hawkins, don't tell them I'm here. Ooh, have fun trimming the tree. Thank you for coming by to say hi. Don't tell. Wait, are we still on the pirate one? I think we are. Bon. James Bond, apparently, but we need to know about Hawkins. You're going to tell me about Hawkins, or I'm going to tell Hawkins about you. You're going to tell me where I can find Hawkins, or I'm going to tell Hawkins about you. Wait, that doesn't track. Your brain says Joey Barra and Trip Hawkins were EA higher-ups. Oh, bye, Galara. Enjoy the tree trimming. I haven't done that in a couple of years. They're fine, hardy fellows, one and all. If you run across Bond, there's a man named Goldfinger who really wants to find him. I wouldn't put it past this game, Detective Zen. Um, Not that there are pirates around here or anything. The salty air just doesn't agree with me. Right. Hawkins. Who's he? Never heard of him. He doesn't want to join us. Well, fine, yodeling Johann. Oh, and that's Ventrissa. We already talked. Bye, Ventrissa. Goldfinger hangs out with a bunch of specters. Wait, is Goldfinger... Why is Goldfinger hanging out with specters? And since when is he in the Mass Effect universe? Goldfinger. I don't think those were the right notes. I tried. Sorry. You see a giant of a man with a solemn stare. Hello to you. Name? Petrov. It's spelled Halo, which is unusual. I am keeping the inn here at King's Ransom. I don't know why he has this voice, but I feel like he has this voice. No need to let them live and let die? I need to actually watch James Bond. I've never watched... Okay, that's a lie. I don't remember any of them. I've watched one. I don't remember which one it was. And I didn't really... It didn't do anything for me. But that was years before I saw things like The Bourne Identity or the Mission Impossible movies or stuff like that. So I probably need to watch some James Bond. Choose to die another day. And at least give them a try. I don't know. People seem to like them. It was the early ones, you understand why. So is there one that I should start with? Most recent Bond films. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, if someone can tell me where I should start so that I skip the really old cheesy ones and just go to good ones. Oh, I should just watch in order. I'm not opposed to it. And I can give it, if people say it's something I should stick with and that it will be rewarding if I get through them, then I can do it. Because I did that with the Godzilla films. Fun to watch the Connery era, but the rampant misogyny is a thing. I mean, same with older Doctor Who. Da Petrov. $48 gold for you to stay and have meal. Good. Okay. Your phrasing there came out of my mouth sort of more like it should be with a yodeler than with someone who says da to mean yes. And I don't have 48 gold. So that's going to be a no, Petrov. What? Maybe you didn't like my inn. Well, maybe I don't like you either. Well, then, goodbye. Goodbye, and good riddance. M for Maud. That's us. I mean, did you ever watch Get Smart? Kind of depends on what you want. If you want a spy thriller or an action movie. Octopussy has to be cheesy. Yeah, I just don't know anything about them. My level of spy narrative was Get Smart. And the old TV series Mission Impossible and Charlie's Angels. That was me. And so Bond, I just never kind of got to. Apparently we can recruit this woman because we're seeing what her arms and armor are. Wait, no, but don't we see the equipment that Lord British has too? We can't recruit him. Smartly dressed woman. Her smile has a delightful subtlety to it. Oh, you must be the Avatar. Or you must be Aegon, the famous Avatar. 'Tis an honor to meet thee. Oh, you see it for anybody that has gear. Okay. My name is Leona. I used to captain my own ship. Was a ship captain. I love when you ask somebody, what is your current job? And they say, I used to do this. Always helpful. But I fell on hard times, and now I sail with Leodon on the Hind. Great. When you say captain, all the pirates at the table turn to you expectantly. When they realize you weren't talking to them, they return to their business. That's grand. You're not tall and blue. You can't control all the elements with your hands. Yep, you're our avatar. None she'd rather ship out with. I feel like I don't really need to have this conversation with her. A fine old vessel, the Golden Hind. Meanwhile, you're sitting there secretly coming up with more 007 film title puns. You're welcome to keep throwing them out there. Alas, I have little to do while she's being repaired. Why is she being repaired? Could I join your party, perhaps? I'm sorry, what? You just told me that you don't want to ship out with anybody but Leodon, and you turn right around and ask to join my party? This does not seem wise. Uh, apart from the questionable motivation, uh, just go for it. After all, you only live twice. Um, I don't know that it would make sense to swap her out for one of the people that we already have. I kind of like the party we have, but also like she's got a shield and a mace. She's a melee fighter, and let me say no for now. Okay, I'll just stay here for now. All right. You have a lot of fight in you, don't you? So far, that was not an impressive introduction to that character for me. Look at the artwork on this one. It comes across as very nautical, but in like a northeastern United States sort of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine-ish kind of nautical. You see an uncomfortable looking man sitting behind a cup of tea. Hey, hello there, Mary. Sorry, I couldn't read a without going to Secret Garden. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Yeah, kind of like a shellfish or just a fisherman, a deep sea fisherman. But yeah, I could see crab boat, lobsterman. Um, hello. The down east Maine accent is not going to come to me today on stream, so he just said hello. His gaze darts from side to side, lingering longingly on the mugs of ale his fellow patrons are gulping down heartily. Uh-huh. Pray tell, what might be your name? He looks at you uneasily. I'm Captain Elard. Not that it's any of your business. Captain Elad. We're going to call him Elad. And I know what happens if I say captain, because he's sitting at that table. So I'm just going to copy that one down. Let's ask his job. I was the captain of the Theodosia Marie until she sank. My interpretation of Ringo Starr's Thomas the Tank Engine narration voice. Oh God, Detective said, I'm sorry. Can they get me some fake crab sticks? Because the local store can't. It's what's funny is they always have a special price on them. 2 packages for $7. That's the standard, like always sale on the crab meat, the imitation crab sticks, which I cut up and put into my lunch because I like them. So they always have the same price. Always. But it's like every 3 weeks they have none. And the rest of the time, they have plenty. But every 3 weeks, none. I don't understand. Obscure reference. What's funny is I know that reference then. Uh-huh. So his ship sank. Did he do it on purpose? It was a terrible ordeal. We were sailing just off Border March when the whole island started shaking. His accent, nobody can pin down his accent. He's enigmatic that way. Nobody can pin down his accent, least of all himself. Oh boy. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't settled on one for him. That's part of the problem. Um, just off Border March, whole island began shaking. They had a whole lot of shaking going on, didn't they? It must have been one of those earthquakes we've been having. Well, now that I know that you know what earthquakes are, that seems really strange. A really strange way to say there was an earthquake and it sank my ship. I just assumed you didn't know what earthquakes were. A fair-sized island, and now she's gone. Some of them earthquakes have been mighty fierce. Uh, Island. Now gone? So he says. I don't know if I believe him that Border March is gone. Shocking. Not shocking, shaking. Roy, the whole island sank beneath the waves. We were caught in the huge whirlpool left in its wake. So didn't that take you to the underworld? That's what whirlpools do here. Island sank, left a whirlpool. The time is now 6:15 p.m. Soon the channel will be for your eyes only. While the world is not enough and diamonds are forever, stream isn't. This is no time to die before the sky falls. You might want to save and prepare for end of stream. Thank you, Elixir, for the Bond title pun infused stream end warning. I was one of the lucky few to swim clear, but my ship's on the bottom of the ocean now, and that's the honest truth. So the captain was one of the lucky few who did not escape the sinking ship. Pun infused in your email signature. Yes. Yes, they started soon after Lord British was rescued from the underworld. After LB was rescued from. Oof. Is this I'm curious. I don't know, and you don't have to tell me if you do know. I see this, and I know that like coming up very soon in the series release wise is a game called Ultima Underworld, or Underworlds, and I wonder if this is the setup for that offshoot series. Jeepers, who? Oh, it was the clue book that told me who would have the info I need. I haven't found the person yet. I lost my ship to the last one. Ultimate underwear. Oh dear. Detective Zen, your comment made my brain try to decide what unique features underwear for Ultimate Frisbee players would need to have. I forced it to stop, but that was where my brain went, was trying to figure out designing underwear specifically for Ultimate Frisbee in such a way as it would only be used for Ultimate Frisbee and not for any other sports. I was talking Ultima Underworld 1 and 2. Yeah, they're somewhat related to 6. Yeah, which I assumed because they come really soon, release date wise, after this game. He shudders, then takes a sip of his tea. I don't like to think about it. He doesn't like to think about the whirlpool. Which puts me in mind of the Edgar Allan Poe stream when we read the story about the whirlpool, and I had to cut it short because I realized that the clocks were wrong on the computer and I had streamed an hour longer than I was supposed to, and I really needed to get out of there. I think that was Poe with the whirlpool story. Ultima Underworld 2 is more related to 7 Part 1. I don't know. I assume it's some sort of raging maw. I'd toast him with you, but this, he gestures disparagingly at his cup, is hardly fitting for such an honor. I don't like tea, was his response to me asking about Lord British. Surely you've heard the tales of the Avatar's bold exploits. It was all anyone was talking about round here for weeks. I mean, yeah, kinda, because sort of like, well, no, I know what happened. I haven't heard the tales. Surely you've heard about the Avatar. If not, let me tell you about the Avatar, as he talks to the Avatar. That's not important. Well, fine. Wait. Before you go, I was wondering, do you know the mantra of honesty? Do I? I believe I do. Let me check my notes. I do. I've been trying to find out what it is so that I can better myself. I'll give you 5 gold if you tell me. Is it a deal? No, I don't know the Avatar. Oh boy. Do we trust him with the mantra of honesty? I need the money. Thank you. My meditations will succeed at last. Oh, yay. But no, I don't really need to ask him the keyword. Let's see here. There are so many people in this tavern. Wait, that's Katrina? Okay. That is a musician. And that is a swashbuckler. They will be, I think, for next week. I'm not sure. I just want to look around and see. I think there's at least one more person. Yeah, let's look. Villager who looks like a beatnik is the description I put for that one as another person we have yet to speak with. Because, my gosh, do they look like a 60s beatnik as portrayed on television. This is a painting by the famous Captain Fox. See, I know that there was a mention of that you have to pass through the tavern to reach one of the shops. That was in the clue book, wasn't it? Let me look at the clue book again. So Buddha the Provisioner. Through a secret door in the tavern. And it's Homer that we need to speak with to learn about what we're supposed to be learning about and why we are here. And it looks like the secret door should be midway through the building. So I'm guessing it's back in here. Probably I have to walk through the fire. Walk through the fire. Okay. My brain wants me to sing the Buffy musical. I'm not going to, because I can't remember any of the words but walked through the fire at the moment. The next things I need to do is talk to these 3 villagers. So I'm gonna end there, I think, because those conversations will take longer than I have left. Glancing at my stuffs and my peoples. Hey, look, 10 gold. We got that 10 gold for selling something, and we got 5 gold for telling somebody the mantra of honesty. So, you know, eventually we will get to where we're going. But there's not really a hurry. We're taking our time. We're doing the things. Yeah, selling cloth armor, that's what it was. I knew we sold something. I didn't remember what it was. And we need to get this book, I think. The other half of the Rosetta Stone? So we need to do this anyway. Which is fine. There. Okay, my indicators are all weird. Thank you all for joining the Moody Mystery. Thank you for being here. Yeah, that's where we're going to leave off the game for today. I should probably take a gander and see... Hi, Adventures of Tony! You made it just in time for the credits. It's good to see you, though. Yeah, I think we will be heading over to Bree. She is not drawing today. Bree's playing Overcooked 2. So we'll be heading over there. Let me say thank yous. First off, thank you to my mods. It's been great to have you here. And Tony, it's great to see you. Thank you, Galara Dragon, for the resubscription. Elixir, thank you for the bits. As always, thank you everybody who joined. Organ Mike, thank you for the raid earlier. I am streaming tomorrow with Mass Effect at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Mass Effect 3, and we're currently about to do a mission where we have entered the virtual world of computer intelligences. We are essentially on the grid, and it's a very Tron-like look to the level or to the mission. And so we're about to do that. We just showed up there. We have done nothing since appearing there, but save. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll continue with Myst 3, followed by a raid over to Q Times for the Streampunk's final live play of the year, which will be episode 9 of Beacon, the alien RPG game that they have been doing. And then coming up on Wednesday for Archival Adventures, we will be looking at baking advertisements, the good, the bad, and the sad. And I will have a guest with me on the stream who goes by the name Kira and is an archivist where I work. So y'all should stop by. It should be a fun stream, probably more chaos than normal. But yeah, let me go ahead and click on start raid here. We're gonna head on over to Breedanon and say hi when you get over there, if you wouldn't mind. The raid call is #RogueRaid. If you have my emotes, you can copy and paste that one directly. If you don't have my emotes, it's just #RogueRaid, and you can throw in whatever, emotes you want to throw. They're cooking, maybe food related emotes. I was trying to anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. It's weird to have been away from the game for 2 weeks. I know I was a bit distracty, but we continue our quest. So until I see you again, get out there and do some shenanigans.